I wasn't here last week because, and I appreciate Bert taking my speaking time, but I had an opportunity to host my high school friend who had never been to California for the very first time she came out to visit. And talk about happy hour. I think we hit everyone around every day. But what it brought up was nostalgia, because, you know, if you ever get together with an old friend you haven't seen for a while and go through yearbooks or things like that, it brings up a lot of things that tell you about like who you became, you know, where you came from and who you are today. And part of that is, I think, about being home too. I think National Association of Realtors is doing a campaign on nostalgia and what home ownership means to not only to family and neighborhoods but business, and so we know how important real estate is to the community. And it also brings up another nostalgia part for me is that since 1984, the strength of my business has been those people who have trusted me, liked me enough to think that I was smart enough to help them get through the transaction, and to refer me to their friends. And I was just telling Gil that one of the best things that I get, I mean, I don't even really do it for the money anymore. I mean, let's face it, you know, I had to make a living to get my kids through college, but a business and a career that you really love that much, the money just comes because that's what the end result is. But the passion. I got an email from a client who said, Jean, today is the anniversary of the closing of our house last year, March 13th. And I sold a home for his mother, who was 95. And she wanted to congratulate me again and thank me for a wonderful job that I had done. So we ended up going out for breakfast this last Saturday, and I got to spend I spent a leisurely 2 hours with this woman, talking to her and learning from her. And that part of the business is just not the statistics. It's not all about what's happening in the market, what are interest rates, are prices going up or down. It's the part about the business that I love the most, and that's about the people. So I wanted just to take that little moment and thank all of you for, you know, being able to share that nostalgia with you. And my girlfriend in high school, by the way, ended up marrying my boyfriend in high school. But of course, she divorced him 20 years later, so maybe I was lucky. So we obviously had a few laughs about that, you know, talk about nostalgia. But every month I get a service that is emailed to me, and it's called about the Orange County Housing Report. And it's one of the tools that I use to then forward to clients to keep them up to date. If they're statistics people, they really, really love it, especially if they love, you know, but there's enough information in there if you're not statistics. If you would like me to mail that to you, if you have any interest, or email it to you on a monthly basis, let me know. I can do that. I'm just going to talk about a few things. I could have brought a PowerPoint. We could just sit here and look at houses inside next time, too. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll do that next time. But one of the things that I think is important to realize in business, because we all are affected by the housing market, is that short sales and foreclosures now that are being placed on the market are now 63% down from the same time just last year, which I suppose we have to understand is a good thing for our business and economy. Compared to, there are 943 additional homeowners that have equity over just last month. That doesn't seem like a lot, but that's actually 18% more than they had last year. So obviously having to gain equity back into your home is a good thing for the economy and people to feel comfortable about going out, perhaps hiring, spending a little more money at your business, and it all make the economy stronger. One of the things that happens to be in this particular report that just came out last week is an article or a whole paragraph or two about how buyers should approach the current market. And I'm sending this to some of my buyers because, you know, they don't get it quite yet, because, you know, sometimes they're a few steps behind what's really, really happening, and some will listen to me and some won't. They have to learn the hard way, which is fine. Sometimes that's how people need to learn. But one of the things that I want to share is, and Janice can attest to this as well as being in the lending part, there's a lot of cash in the marketplace now. Currently, 1/3 of all transactions are cash sales. Some buyers are borrowing the cash from like reserves or from their parents or maybe even from their retirement fund and then obtaining the finance later and putting it back. That's because everything that I've written so far in offers, they're all multiple offers. Every transaction, whether it's a condo or a house, almost in every price range, there are multiple offers. So you really have to be a little, you have to kind of be creative in how you present. You have to be creative in how you present your offers to the potential sellers, because they're, you know, if your buyer doesn't have all cash, then you're almost at a disadvantage. I know I've been losing a few because of that. So, so some of the things that I think are important for us to understand is that the buyers haven't caught up with that whole idea yet. So it's very hard on the realtor to say, you know, you don't want to tell them what, you know, you really advise them, but sometimes there are buyers who just don't get it. They have to experience it, 3 or 4 transactions or writing several offers. They're saying now that the average buyer is actually writing upwards from 15 to 20 offers before they get a house. So it makes the job of the realtor really challenging, but again, you have to be on top of it. I've been, obviously, as you can tell, I've been doing this for a while, and I have a few tricks up my sleeve that always kind of work for the buyers. And we not that I go and knock on the doors, but I've done that too. If there's a neighborhood that my client really wants, I'll write letters, make phone calls, knock doors, no matter where you know, what it takes to maybe perhaps get them into a home. So I have a lot more statistics, and I did bring out a few. It's about headlines in real estate. It's from the LA Times. If anybody wants some of this information, I made a few copies if you want to take home and read later. But the thing about buying with not cash is getting a loan. And I know, Janice, you know, we can attest to this, that right now, nearly half of all California households can now afford a median-priced home in our state. But that's no help if they can't get a mortgage, right? 6 years after the subprime mortgage meltdown, banks remain really tight-fisted, even with solid buyers. The fact that they attribute this to shifts in the government regulations and demands that they have to buy back bad loans. So obviously now the pendulum has gone so far to the other side that getting a loan is very hard. Mortgage credit has not eased much since 2007, according to Federal Reserve surveys, while interest rate and the housing recovery have brought buyers are just lined up trying to seek financing. First-time buyers or self-employed borrowers, like a lot of us are, must jump through especially complex hoops to get a loan. Even if they're gold-plated applicants and must justify the smallest quirks in their finances. So it can be an excruciating process. So with that, I'm just going to stop, and if you have any questions, I think if you want any of this, I did make a few copies of some of this Orange County report and some of the things that's called Beyond the Headlines, and it kind of gives some, you know, details about what the market. Does anyone have any questions? I would be happy to answer any if you don't have any. If you're not, oh, Bruce?
How difficult is it to purchase a new home if you first have to sell your existing home? Is that a possibility? It's not easy. If you're buying all cash, and if your home has been through the process of, you know, removing all contingencies and that sort of thing, you could probably convince the other agent, perhaps, or the, you know, the seller of the property that you're trying to buy, that you're, you know, solid gold. But a lot of people are not even making their home. I mean, if they'll make it non-contingent on that house selling. I mean, if it's through the process far enough along that you feel comfortable that you're pretty solid, I would say make it a non-contingent offer if you are, you know, pretty sure that you're going to get your money out of it. Because, I mean, you'll be at a somewhat disadvantage because a lot of people, so many of our transactions are all cash right now. Yes. I had a Fountain Valley transaction just recently. It was
the family was selling it and through the trust. And we had 15 offers on it, and this was in Fountain Valley, in a mid-range of the 500,000, and it sold for 10% higher than the list price. So, and the seller did not accept the all cash ones, believe it or not, but they did have 45% down. So it's challenging right now. Yes, Sally.
Do you also sell manufactured homes?
That is a specialty I don't. I would refer that to someone out who specializes in that type of property, because it's done through, if it doesn't involve real estate underneath, and if you don't own the land underneath, then it's a different type of sale that you go through the state. But, oh, absolutely can refer someone who is a mobile home broker or a manufactured home broker.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you. Oh,
Is inventory still way down? Is that why?
way down. Way down.
Why-
So
why
if you
that?
really want to sell your home, please call. I'll probably have a buyer for you, or we'll.
Why is the inventory way down?
Well, I think people are now experiencing the fact that there's appreciation, and because of interest rates being so low, there's really more flooding of buyers in the market, and the fact that many sellers were they had short sales, and that's now been reduced because every single time a home sells, the prices are going up, and appraisers are having a hard time keeping up with appraising the property for what buyers are willing to pay for it. So it's difficult.
My question is, are the cash buyers from outside of this area, or are
No,
they?
not necessarily. No, they're not. We are seeing a lot of influx of, foreign money, of course, coming into it. But a lot of the, investors or homeowners that we have here are, living and working and have businesses here in the community. And he's telling me my time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.